Welcome everyone to our second season of Miners postseason action. I am Fisac, joined on the call today for this first matchup by Chicken Sandwich. And Whitney, we have got a great matchup here. It's the Corns of Pop versus the Crawlers. I believe this is the Chaos division, if I'm remembering correctly. Or no, I think this is actually the Panic. I've actually gotten this completely wrong. It is, in fact, the Panic division, the Panic conference that we were working through. And it's just excited to have you on the call with me here for what is looking to be a great Miners postseason action.
Yep, two teams that have fought through and have themselves in position to take home a crown. Going to have a new champion. Miners going the way of Majors. Spartans not going to repeat here. Actually, Corns lost in this series last year, so a chance to avenge that loss.
Well, Trish Wilder will lead things off for the Crawlers. It's Mabel Sparks, the top pick in the Season 6 draft that will get the start here for the Corns Pop. And swing and a miss. She got rung up there, and I think we'll see a little bit of this from Sparks all series long. All today.
Off to a hard start. She's gone through the minor season so far, 15 and 2/3 innings coming into this game. Only one earned run given up all season, a .57 ERA. Oh my word, back-to-back strikeouts.
And she rang up Archie Barker there, and that'll bring up Sabine Sample more now.
And a 1.02 whip.
Of course, we got to see Mabel Sparks in the All-Star game. If you haven't able to tune in live to watch it, make sure you head over to, you're on the YouTube channel already, so head over to the season. Oh my gosh, she rung up there. Three batters, 3 strikeouts for Mabel Sparks, and we got to see her in the All-Star game yesterday, but make sure you go over to the YouTube channel to watch all of those games. This one is right to Ryzen at third base. Rex Erickson gets the call for the Crawlers here.
Pretty solid season from Erickson, 16 1/3 in the minors, only 3 earned runs, 10 to 12 strikeout to walk ratio, only giving up 1 home run on the season, 1.65 ERA and a 1.65 whip.
Throws it right back. First in time for the second out, brings up King Kush. Now, of course, the Corns of Pop are the Unicorns Miners affiliate. It's not obvious enough already to tell. And the Crawlers are actually with the Walkers organization. Both of those organizations missing out on the postseason this year. The Walkers in a more dramatic fashion. This is right to Porterhouse, steps on the bag. So
you have to crawl before you can walk.
Had to go to the top of the second now. Pierre Porterhouse, Bobby Boucher due up for the Crawlers. This will be a best of 3 series here for the conference finals in minors, and then of course the super series for minors will be a best of 5. And for both of those matchups, the home side will switch every single game. Swing and a miss. He got rung up there. 4 strikeouts for Mabel Sparks.
This is incredible. I don't think anyone's ever started off a game with 4 straight strikeouts.
Actually, I think the best of 5. Oh no, it will switch in between, because in that case there could be a chance at which they would only have 1 game at home, so it will switch every single game. It's God looking. Mabel Sparks 5 strikeouts. Actually, will it rotate, or will it be 2-2-1 for the best of 5?
I think it would be 2-2-1.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. This is the first minors game that we're calling today, so apologize if it's a little rusty, but we'll get settled in here. Just got done with a 5-hour stream yesterday. Full count now here. Fouled off. Swing and a miss. He got rung up there, and Mabel Sparks strikes out the side again.
Maple Sparks ain't messing around.
In case you were wondering who the #1 pick was, she was the #1 pick, right?
Yeah, she was.
no
She
one-
most certainly was.
No one got cheeky and drafted some like positional player in front of her. As this one is into left center field, that'll get down 4 extra bases. Oh, that was a lot
Ooh.
closer than you would think. I think that was Musha there. Here is Gerald Davis. Came over from the ball players organization.
Yeah, one of the few that have played on both sides of the minors this season. And he might have an RBI here.
That one gets through the right side, and it will be the first run of the game. Corns a pop, strike first. Brings up Alfred Walker.
Alfred coming over from the wing bats right before the deadline, I believe.
Through the gap on the left side, so 3 hits this inning for the Corns of Pop. They're starting to roll here over Erickson. Chris Luzon. And what is really great about these games this season as opposed to last season, Whitney, is that there's really, Risings are few and far between. These are made up of the entire farm systems for these franchises, as this will be caught by Erickson for the first out.
Yeah, only 4 total Risings starting in this game. 1 from the Corns and 3 from the Crawlers. Pretty fleshed out. We're getting to a point where minors are really populated.
And of course, if you're watching this now, you can expect to see these players become the stars of the SSBL. As this one is hit well into left, tracking back at the track, caught by George Pierre right in front.
Good play by Pierre to track that one down. I thought that was going to be over his head.
Pierre almost was called up in time for the play-in game for the Walkers, but was not submitted early enough. So getting the start here in the minors conference finals. That one's caught by Porterhouse, so in the end it'll just be 1-run damage. Head to the top of the 3rd. All Risings due up for the Crawlers.
Now batting, the 3rd baseman,
You can strike out the real people. You think she'll be able to strike out the Risings pretty easily.
You're dooming it, and this will be the first non-strikeout of the game for Maple Sparks. 27 strikeouts. The dream is dead.
number 47.
We need to try and look back and see if we can find a strikeout record. I think we've had a couple double-digit outings since we've been in SMB 3. I say like 11, maybe 13 comes off the top of my head.
It'll be relatively easy to find per game just because we have the stat entries per game, so
Right.
it'll be pretty easy to find if there's a record. For sure in the minors, this is looking really special for Maple Sparks here. 2-2. This one is up the middle, and that will end Sparks' 7 straight retired. It will be off of the bat of Horizon.
That's a shame.
The designated hitter, number 17.
So clearly Maple Sparks only downhill from here. The worst of her career. Elder, if you want to trade her from the organization, I completely understand. And the Dragons are willing to talk. Left side. Caught by Horizon for the second out. The only Horizon in the field, as Whitney was mentioning, for the Corns of Pop.
The shortstop,
Yeah, this Corns team, maybe even next season, depending on what Elder plans to do, could be very scary. Like, you got Sparks coming up. You've got people like Valley Monroe, Archibald Longshanks, Dokyu Shi, Pete Nokia, and all these position players. This Corns team is looking bright for the future.
Caught by Keisha Phillips, and that will end top of the 3rd. We'll head to the bottom, top of the order, due up for the Corns of Pop.
now batting, the center.
Yeah, as we were mentioning, actually, the entire Unicorns farm system pitchers are better than I think all but one of the major side. That's really the benefit, Whitney, of the minors, is that's a walk issue there that we're really seeing the advantage of as someone, you've been in the league longer than I have, but the ability to actually legitimately rebuild retool that was not necessarily there for teams of the past. It's a real equalizer in the long-term health of the league and will help to make sure that the competition is fierce between all the teams in the SSBL for seasons to come.
Yeah, we've gone a long way from having to have balanced trades as this one's hit deep into the gap. It's going to one hop off the wall, and that would probably put about 2-0 here.
It will indeed. An RBI double. That one is, heading to third. Thought twice about it. Erickson was there behind the bag.
But yeah, I remember, trades were a lot harder because you had to work a hard time to make sure, you're doing position player for a position player, pitcher for a pitcher. And it would just take twice as long to try and figure out if that's something you really wanted to do and if it worked for both sides. So it's really been a good move by the league, like moving into like drafts every season, unbalanced trades. It really allows, people to go all in, allows people to, read the writing on the wall and pull back and try and sell off and be ready for in a season or two, like the Corns have done here.
Double steal. This one popped up into center. Don't know if it'll be deep enough for the runner at second to tag. Will not. Boucher settles underneath it for the first out. And like you're saying, Whitney, it really was, for those of you who are relatively new to the SSBL, used to be, since we didn't have minors, that if you ever made a trade, you would have to trade a pitcher for a pitcher, a position player for a position player, and there was additionally only 2 rounds in the draft. So as a result, it was much harder to get widespread trades done. Of course, entering the season 5, we had the ability, we had 5 rounds, as well as the ability to make those unbalanced trades. Reverse fall, that craziness. This is to Wilder, throw to second in time, throw to first. They will get the Dragon special, so the Corns back will just add 1 as we head to the top of the 4th inning. And then, of course, this year, the new addition of the compensation rounds. Teams will have the ability to retire up to 2 players, and as a result, receive, they can retire more than 2 players, actually. They can retire up to 5, but they will only get compensation round picks for the first 2 that they retire, and those picks will be in order of record, similar to the second and third rounds in the draft. Nice grab there by Trey Flip-Flop.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. We finally are really going to have some people, tipping the cap. We already know that Daquan Smith is leaving the league, as well as Gina Blake from the Unicorns, this organization. It's going to be interesting and sad to see, some of those first vestiges of the league say goodbye.
Well, Mabel Smart's looking like the worst picture in the minors right now. Just gave up her first walk of the game. Sad to see a hero fall like this. Again, Elder, if you're trying to offload her, just let me know. I will be there for you in this time of need.
I'll give you a 3rd round pick for her.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll trade a free agency acquisition. This one, Trey Flip-Flop, throw to first in time. Led to the bottom of the 4th inning. Walker, Luzon, Keisha Phillips all due up for the Corns of Pop.
Despite from Mabel Sparks' domination early on, it's only a 2-0 game. Erickson keeping it close for the Crawlers offense. They can eventually chip away at Sparks.
And I'll tell you, Whitney, the thing that's surprising about Erickson, his pitching stats are what they are. But what's really interesting is his fielding and speed, which are top notch for a pitcher. That ball gets right by him for a leadoff single. That one is off of the glove of Samplemore. Runner, though, Walker.
Favorable bounce
has
there.
Bad jumps. Oh no, back off the glove of Erickson. I mean, again, look at that fielding an arm. I haven't really seen that this inning, but in general, he's good with that.
Yeah, there's very few pitchers in the league that have that high speed. I think Quash Ward might be one of them. I remember one time he beat out an infield hit, and I forgot he was that fast, and I just saw him just blaze down the first base. I was like, oh, okay.
And she gets rung up there. Erickson with, I believe, his first strikeout of the game. That'll bring up Zion Rising. And that actually will do it for Erickson. 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3.2 innings pitched. And that'll bring in Will Asiago.
Asiago coming in with a 2.65 ERA has thrown, I think, the most innings in the minors at 37 and a third innings. Just 11 earned runs, an 18 to 31 walk to strikeout ratio. So he gets number 32 there to end the inning and send us into the 5th. Still a 2-0 ball game in favor of the Corns.
Brings them up there. Of course, Asiago, an acquisition in the offseason from the Dragons organization. His future is certainly uncertain, Whitney, and I think you can say that about a lot of these players in the minors who are season 1, season 2, season 3. Don't necessarily know where they fit into their organizations, as she rings them up there going into the future, especially if there are part of teams that they cannot retire on. Of course, you must be on a team for at least 3 seasons in order to retire on that team. So it'll be interesting to see where these players land in the future.
Might be interesting, some of these, maybe work a trade where you send back, back-to-back strikeouts. Mabel Sparks back on it again. But you try to maybe, if you've got 2 people that came from somewhere else, maybe trade like 2 people you can retire for a 3rd-round pick or something like that. Maybe we see deals like that being made this offseason.
Bobbed up left field, and then Rising should have this, and does. So we'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning, still 2-0 Corns. And that's actually what's interesting, Whitney, about I feel like it's important to talk about this in a minors game because there are, some players in the minors right now who will be retiring this season. Of course, it's well known as this one is hit deep into left, but should be handled pretty easily there. Thompson Busby will be retiring with the Dragons organization, who's currently on the Raptors. And the question becomes, do you trade for those older players who you can retire and get those compensatory picks when you might have other players that could retire as well? And so it's not worth making that trade to get that player just to retire them because you already had players that you were going to retire.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fine line to balance because, for me, for instance, I have, an almost completely full minors org. I think I'm, a player too short. And I probably have, because I still have a good vestige of, season 1's playing on the Bombers, so I could retire probably at least 8 people, I think. But obviously, I don't think I want to do that just offhand.
As this one is hit into the left gap, that'll get past George Pierre. Nice work from him, though, to make it only a double, reading it off of the wall.
But keeping that balance of, having at least a few backups despite them being old, but maybe at least serviceable in case you need something in a pinch to at least have in your back pocket.
Into left, Bomber special that will get down in front of George Pierre. The throw home will not be in time. Horns to pop, add one more. A little bit of bad luck there for Asiago. He hasn't necessarily done anything incredibly wrong. To give up the double to Musha. But aside from that, or I believe that was King Kush actually that he gave it up to. And then that was Musha there that had the RBI single. This one into right, caught by Ryzen. So the pitching for the Crawlers not doing honestly too bad, but they need to find a way to get past Mabel Sparks. They're heading to the top of the 6th inning here.
Up to 9 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, on fire.
On fire is Mabel Sparks. Can she hit double-digit strikeouts? Her pitch count, it's under control, but it's looking like she probably will not be able to finish the game.
Oh, yeah.
Especially given that she is an SPRP, so a little bit sooner pull than a regular starting pitcher, as Luzon is there, throw to first in time, 1 gone. Of course, perfect game out of reach because did give up that hit in the 3rd inning, as well as giving up a walk. 2-1, and that will be the 2nd hit of the game given up by Sparks. Wilder makes it to first. And that, thinking about it, that does a little bit more understand why Erickson got pulled. Is that's actually going to be a pull for Mabel Sparks. Pete Nocio will get the call here. He's got a 3-run buffer. And if he goes the distance, he'll get the save.
Might be the first outing for Nokia, unless I didn't switch him over from the wrong fielders.
Caught by flip-flop for the second out.
Now batting, the catcher.
So in the end, for Mabel Sparks, she lasts 5.1 innings, 8 strikeouts, a walk and 2 hits. Great appearance from who will most likely be the #1 starter for the Unicorns, probably as early as next season.
I would be surprised if she isn't, honestly. Like, I mean, she's going to be like probably 80, then 99, 99. I mean, she's already 99, 98, so she's going to be more than ready to go for next season.
Well, the one rising on the field is not able to catch it, but does stop it on the short hop. So runners on first and second, 2 gone. Here is George Pierre. And funnily enough, we're actually 1 swing away from a tie game here.
I was just going to mention one swing baseball, but this one's going to be popped up to Keisha Phillips to end the threat.
Into the bottom of the 6th inning, Alfred Walker, Chris Luzon, Keisha Phillips. Now, Alfred Walker is a bit of an enigma, Whitney. He is someone who had the negative trait, got rolled, and he's actually going to go 2 for 3, as he was 2 for 2 to start, but rolled a negative trait, but has been relatively decent today. Don't necessarily know if his numbers in the season reflect that.
Let's see. Walker, a short stint as he had the trade late in the season. 5 for 15 down here in the minors. 333. Does have 2 home runs, so a pretty good showing. And we'll at least get one of those off, with those new rules we're thinking about. What has he got? He's got whiffer and
bad jumps.
Bad jumps.
Which are the 2 negative traits that you can get, I believe. Oh, and RBI dud is also the other one.
And refresh my memory. Does the person get to choose which trait gets removed, or is that just going to be a random spin which one gets removed?
I think they should get to choose. Again, we're still finalizing this, so if you're listening right now, don't take anything I say with a grain of salt. But we'll need to finalize that. This offseason is going to look a little bit different, of course, as we'll need to really get that updated rule book in to make sure that everyone's on the same page heading into season 7. And the good news, though, is that once we make the changes that we're making, I don't think that we should have any major changes to the system going forward in terms of the operations and day-to-day of managing a team in the SSBL.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 33.
Lubbock rising, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. This is on the right side. Should be manageable. Will he get there in time? Yes, he will. King Kush makes the run. We'll head to the bottom of 7th inning. Just want to thank everybody for joining in for the Miners Conference Finals of the Panic Conference. I'm Fisac, joined by Whitney on the call. Make sure once you are done with this to go over and watch the Chaos Conference Finals. I actually think, Whitney, what we'll do is we'll have this air, and then we'll have a later airing for the Cherry Bombers Lucky Charms. That way people can watch one series and then watch the next one and not have to consider watching them both, considering that they're both going to be commentated as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and head over to our Discord, where you can make your way into creating a player, finding out everything that's happening in the league. You can just go to supersimbaseballleague.com, actually, and that'll route you to our Discord page.
Number 30.
In fact, let me try that to make sure that that's still the case.
Yeah, I think it was. I remember clicking on that. He hit the Reddit, and I clicked and it took us to a join the Discord link.
The right fielder, number 68.
Not working anymore?
No, it doesn't appear that it is.
Interesting.
Well, we'll have to test that. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Runner on first. Runner takes off. Throw to first is in time. We'll head to the top of the 8th inning. Crawlers have a 3-run deficit. You know what? Is it just? I think it might just be Super Sim League.
Now batting, the right fielder.
Nope,
number
not that.
47.
Right to lose on. In time.
Now batting, the designated hitter, number 17.
And we got some polygons on Merle Rising here.
Yeah, the Crawlers uniforms are having a bit of an issue.
As he rings them up there.
Now batting, the
Now we'll bring up Trish Wilder. 2 gone here in the top of the 8th.
One more strikeout for the Corns off 10 as a team.
Caught by Chris Luzon, so we'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Last batting opportunity for the Corns to pop if they can hold on in the top of the 9th. They will take the first game if they can hold on. Again, since it's a best of 2, I'll put them in nicely.
I remember Josh mentioning that the Miners playoffs were going to change going into next season. Do you remember? I remember him talking about that in our league office DMs. Do you remember offhand what he wanted to do? I don't remember.
Chaos.
Exactly.
The number of teams that are entering are, I think, almost every single team. I think it might be like the top 16 teams would actually make it in.
number 50.
This one into left, caught by George Pierre for the second out.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 77.
3-0 count to Alfred Walker, fouled off. Can't seem to find it. We'll find a way to make you join the Discord. If chances are, if you're watching this, you're already a part of the Discord. If you're not a part of the Discord, go ahead and as he gets hung up there, nice battle back from the 3-0 count. Make sure just post in the comments, "I'm not a part of the Discord." We'll get you into the Discord.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 4.
Nice past the glove of Chris Luzon. Almost made a great catch there. So a leadoff single. Now I'll bring up Sabine Samplemore. Crawler's not out. It's only a 3-run lead. Nocio is locked in. Three-one count. And that'll be a walk to Samplemore and Whitney. We're one swing territory away from a tie game.
And this is the guy who you won up, George Pierre. One of the more solid pieces that this Crawlers team has down here.
George Pierre, this is a single into left. Won't be deep. Oh, the runner's going to come. Oh, my.
Wow.
The runner thought about coming home and thought better of it. And here's over 3 Hamilton Porterhouse with the bases loaded, nobody out.
He got about a third away down the base path, too. It's like, maybe not.
0-2 count to Hamilton Porterhouse. Pops up, shallow right field. This won't be deep enough for a runner to tag. One gone. And here is the last batter who is not named Ryzen, Bobby Boucher. And you have to think if the Crawlers are going to find a way back into this game, it needs to come off of Boucher's bat. This is deep into right. It's going to be caught by King Kush. Runners will tag and head to third and home respectively. So the Crawlers break the shutout. And now their hopes rely in chaos. Lubbock Rising. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. 3-1 the score. Can the Corns a pop and Pete Nocio close this out here? Popped up behind a plate. And that will be caught for the third out. The Corns of Pop are going to take the first game in this series, a score of 3-1. Eight hits to 5 were for the home side. Take a look at some of these stats. Only 5 hits for the Crawlers. Of course, all of them coming from unique players. Everyone except for Porterhouse and Boucher getting a hit. And Whitney, that comeback just came a little bit too short and a little bit too late for the Crawlers.
Yeah, they threaded a couple of times, but they just could never muster anything.
Rex Erickson will get the loss. Mabel Sparks will get the win. Pete Nocio will get the save. Well, that's going to do it for game 1, and we're just going to stick it here. So we're going to change it to the starting soon screen. And Whitney, go ahead and tell me what you think. What do the Crawlers need to do to force a game 3 here?
Crawlers to force a game 3 are just really going to have to chip away at the Corns pitching. Who's their number 2 offhand? Is it Monroe, I think?
Let's see.
They're just going to have to really try and get after her and, just continue to chase because, this Corns bullpen is probably the deepest of anyone in the league. So just the bats are going to have to be a lot hotter than they were in that last game. And then have to keep the same mojo pitching wise. Keep the Corns at bay, keep them at or about 3 runs. That's how you're going to win a game, I think.
It will be Renault versus Jeffries, as we're actually going to be able to make our way to the Motor Yard. It is Motor Yard that they play at, right? The Walker?
Yes, for the Walker, yes.
Making our way over to the Motor Yard. So actually, might be the quickest we've ever had a turnaround in between games. Score of that game 1 was 1-3. So it is an elimination game for the home side, the Crawlers. As we can see the Corns of Pop fans out in force here.
Number 7.
And first pitch by Jeffries, and we are underway now here at the Motor Yard.
Nope, that's outside.
Popped up behind the plate. That'll be caught by Samplemore for the first out. That'll bring up Trey Flip-Flop.
See, Wiley Jeffries on the season, only 7 1/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, giving up a 6.13 ERA and a 1.5 WHIP.
Gives up a hit here to Trey Flip-Flop. Of course, Flip-Flop, a member of the Panic All-Star team.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 68.
There is King Kush, also a member of that All-Star team. Turns out, Whitney, a lot of Corns of Pop were on the All-Stars for the Panic Conference.
Yeah, I think that that team was maybe a third Corns, if not more.
That one is caught by Rachel Risen out and right. We can actually pull up. I can find where you mentioned it.
Number 23.
This one is into left. That one will get down. Flip-Flop will head to third. Pierce through to second. A little bit of a heads-up play from him.
Now batting, the catcher, number 50.
Nope, that's inside.
Chance for the Corns to strike quickly.
That's one up the middle, and the Corns of Pop will score. Away here, you take a 1-0 lead.
Darrell Davis, kind of an early MVP, has gotten at least 2 RBIs across for his team so far in this series. Be interested to see how the Corns use Davis next season. He's a primary catcher, but his fielding is a bit low to be behind the plate effectively. Maybe use a camp on him. He is a bit older at a season 4, so we'll be interested to see how he's utilized going forward.
Walker gets rung up there, and we'll head to the bottom of the first, but the Corns of Pop do strike first.
Now batting, the short.
Wilder again here to lead things off. So if we have a look at the Panic All-Stars, Gerald Davis, Keisha Phillips, King Kush, Trey Flip-Flop, Moo Shaw, Mabel Sparks, Valerie Renault. This one drops down for a leadoff single. Is Long Shakes a part of the...
Yes, Archibald Longshanks.
So off the top of my head, Pato Gold, I believe, is...
A Cobra.
a
No,
Cobra.
not a Cobra. Pot of Gold is a Spartan.
So 8 Corns of Pop members made it to the Panic All-Stars. As he gets rung up there, 21 total players on the Panic All-Stars team, and 8 of them, over a third, come from the Corns of Pop. Into center field. Easily caught by Breezy B.
Now batting, the left fielder, number
George Pierre needs to get going. He led the crawlers in batting average this season at .538 this season. Really needs to get going to give the crawlers any kind of chance at forcing a game 3.
Stolen base there. Well, especially considering the bottom of the order is all Risings. If they got to get stuff done, they got to get it done early. Renault throw to first in time. So the crawlers threaten, but don't tie it up. Lose on Phillips, rise and do up. You know, I'm actually looking at these Panic All-Stars. Did we actually have a crawlers member?
I don't think so.
Interesting enough. This one is hit deep in the left center, tracking back at the track and off of the top of the wall.
hippie top.
Millimeters away from that ball going over.
now batting, the second baseman, number 24.
Nope, high. Steer. Steer. Nope, that's inside.
2-2 to Keisha Phillips. Runner on second. Nobody out here in the top of the second inning in game 2 of our Panic Conference Finals. Fouled off. Full count. Staying alive is Phillips. And she fouls off another one. And in the 9th pitch of her at bat, finally gets out there.
Now batting, the left
Now bring up
fielder,
bottom of the order, Zion
number
Horizon.
16.
You know, if I had the time, which I really don't, it'd be really interesting to try and calculate the Risen's batting average this season.
Now batting, the center
That would take a
fielder,
lot of
number
time.
7.
That one up the middle. Runner does not come home off of Boucher's throw. So runners on the corners, one out for Breezy Bree.
Yeah, Boucher could be a really good center fielder. He's got one heck of an arm. I think he's probably about 80, 90 on that arm. So that's a real asset for the Walkers organization going forward.
Nice dive by Porterhouse. Throw to second in time. The throw to first will not be in time. And the Corns of Pop will add a
Now
second
batting,
run.
The third baseman, number 30.
That brings up Trey Flip-Flop.
Nope, nope. That's high. Off the plate.
3-0 count. And it'll be a 4-pitch walk.
Now batting, the right
Death by
fielder,
1,000
number
cuts so far
58.
is the mantra for the Crawlers this series.
Yeah, just no one you can really take a breather on except for the one Risen, but the one Risen had a hit up the middle.
Is able to get King Kush to pop up here, and this inning will end. But the Corns of Pop do score. 2-0 heading to the bottom of the second. Porterhouse, Boucher, and then the Risens do up.
Now batting, the first baseman.
Let's take a look at Valley Rinro stats. I can find them real fast. 17 innings pitched, only 3 earned runs, a 1.58 ERA, 20 strikeouts to only 1 walk, a .588 whip. An absolutely beast of a pitcher.
Swing and a miss. Beast of a pitcher gets a beast of a strikeout. Now bring up Bobby Boucher.
Ball inside.
Reminder that this series is a best of 3, so if the Corns of Pop were to hold out here, they would be your Panic Conference champions. Earn their first ever berth to the Miners Super Series as she rings them up there.
Now batting the third baseman.
As Whitney was saying earlier, we will have 2 new teams in the Miners Super Series. Last year it was the Wingbats and the Spartans. Wingbats from the Gauchos organization, the Spartans from the Stingers organization. Spartans ended up winning that one 3-1.
Strike.
With scores that have been lost to time, as this one is up the middle and Horizon is aboard.
Now batting the right fielder.
At this point in that tone, I'd like to give a huge shout out while we're on a YouTube to Twitch for giving us the ability to export all of our VODs to YouTube, which makes it significantly easier to keep track of stats and to not lose VODs, especially when we have at any given time 5 different people that can record a game. Makes everything so much easier. As that's a dive. Nice stop by Ryzen, actually, to prevent that ball from going passes. Whitney, we've seen
So many.
the bad repercussions of missing that slide.
And all the people who don't slide and miss, it's a Horizon. We've seen that so many times in the majors and also here in the minors. I remember that happening a couple of times. You mentioned the Spartans. I think it cost them the game against the Jungle Kings back in Week 8 and actually eliminated them from postseason contention.
That's outside.
Of course, as this is a full count, and he gets rung up there. The Rising Chaos does not strike. Led to the top of the third. Mushaw, Gerald Davis off of Walker. And that is the one thing that is going to be interesting going forward, as can't get full details yet about what will happen with Miners playoffs next season, but suffice to say it will be more than 4 teams. In fact, I can suffice to say it will be at least double the number of teams, potentially triple the number of teams, potentially quadruple the number of teams. That last one, don't fact check me on that. But it is a tough world in the first 2 seasons of the Miners, which to be fair, Whitney, if you consider the first 2 seasons of the SSBL, it's a very cutthroat way to try and get into the playoffs and also to succeed in postseason. But as the SSBL got larger, they were able to diversify and have a more succinct playoff structure, and same thing's happening here with the Miners, especially with all the, mainly the biggest reason why this is happening now is that all the Risings are pretty much going to be leaving, making it a much more entertaining spectacle to watch.
Yeah, we've really only at this point, and considering the future, only got maybe 2-3 teams really left that are majority Risings, I think. Metro's offhand. Oh, this one is.
You need to shut up, Whitney, because Alfred Walker's got something to tell you. That ball absolutely blasted. I believe you mentioned earlier this is now his 3rd home run of the campaign. Puts the Corns of Pop up 4-0.
With Whiffer activated.
With Whiffer activated. Whiffer, I hardly know her. This ball is gone. Nice side there, Archie Barker to throw to first in time. 2 gone.
Really nice play there by Barker. Had some good defensive stats. Could be a really good piece for the Walkers moving forward.
By the way, whoever's watching this, can y'all clip me telling Whitney to shut up? I didn't mean to say it like that.
No,
to be
you're fine.
to be fair, Whitney, it wasn't me saying it. It was Alfred Walker, because he really showed it. That's going to do it for Wiley Jeffrey. 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks in 3.2 innings pitched. That will bring up Robinson on the mound.
Good old Piazza. Piazza only 4 innings this season. Didn't give up an earned run. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 1 hit for half of a whip and nothing on the ERA.
Barker makes the grab there, so it will end, but the Coins of Pop have scored in every inning so far. Crawlers need to find the way back in it. They've got the top of the order due up. And the thing that's concerning about the Crawlers with where they are right now is that given, like you mentioned, given this bullpen of the Coins of Pop, they need to start putting runs on the board. And that this is something that we have seen. It's not necessarily there are certainly some outliers. This one is into left center, but making the grab is Breezy Bree for the first out. Scoring in the minors has been tough at times given the Risings that are in there.
Yeah, and it's really weird. Like, just sometimes a Rising can be on, or just Risings can be dormant. And so it's just really what kind of day you get.
Now batting, the catcher, number
Well, 2 outs here, the bottom of the third, Sabine Samplemore. That one gets off of the bat. That'll be extra bases for Samplemore. A 2-out double. And, you know, Whitney, that's been the other issue for the Crawlers so far today is that they necessarily haven't struggled to get hits compared to the Coins of Pop in terms of how many hits the Coins of Pop are getting. The issue is that they can't convert those into runs. As this one is deep into center, but Breezy Bree is there. And once again, a double by Samplemore is going to be wasted there. Heading to the top of the fourth, it's 4-0 Coins of Pop.
now batting, the center fielder, number 7.
Yeah, this is going exactly the wrong way if you're the Crawlers fan. Just, you can't be putting up zeros when the Corns of Pop have scored in every inning.
And that one will get through on the right side. Leadoff single.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 30.
Here is Trey Flitflop. Oh man, jacks that one, but it's a little bit too early. Swing and a miss there. 0-2 count.
Ball
1-2 to Flip-Flop. Runner at first, nobody out here at the top of the fourth. Popped up, left side, caught by Wilder.
Want to know a fun fact about Trish Wilder?
Right fielder, number 68.
Sure.
Former Bomber.
Jar. I knew what was gonna happen the second that you said that. This one is up the middle, low pitch activated. I'll put runners on first and second, one gone. And here is Musha,
Designated hitter,
who came in and played out of position at second yesterday in the All-Star game and was just fantastic.
I don't think a single ball was hit her away, though. I think it was Leela Blurns that came in late in that game and shut down the panic and won the game for the Chaos.
now batting,
Once again, Bobby Boucher prevents a run with his arm, but this loads the bases with one out for Gerald Davis. Potential opportunity for a double play as he has no speed. 0-2 count. Swing!
Ooh.
And a miss. He gets swung up there.
now
And that'll bring up Alfred Walker,
number 77.
who didn't have himself that bad of a game previously. But this one is right to Wilder. Throw to first is in time, and Walker is injured. Now, we do not keep track of injuries in the minors,
No.
so this will not affect anything in terms of if the calls were to come back here. Ooh, a tweaked groin too. If the calls were to come back here, Alfred Walker would still play in the next game, as well as Alfred Walker will be completely fine for the minor Super Series as well if the Coins Pop were to hold on
The
to.
center fielder, number 1.
Nope, that's inside. Foul ball. Nope, outside.
2-1 count from Valerie Knows. Not necessarily the same dominant performance that we saw from Mabel Sparks in game one, but Renault getting the job done, although has let now 9 base runners on, but most importantly hasn't let any of them score.
33.
or rather, she's let 5 base runners on. That was her
I was about to
first
say, where'd
walk.
you get 9 from?
I thought for some reason it had been 4 walks. As I'm about to eat my own grits here. Runner will round third, head home, and the Crawlers get on the board. You're welcome, Pasta. Although, again, I do not believe in jinxing. I believe in destiny.
Number 47.
Is Walker their DH, or does he play in the field?
He's their DH.
Okay, so no real
That's down.
issue there defensively.
Who's on? Throw the first in time. 2 gone.
Now back.
Brings out Merle. Rising.
Number 17.
Right side, Alfred Walker.
Ooh,
Oh, no,
nice.
Walker is actually at first base. I think he's playing with a tweaked groin and made that catch.
Now batting.
Alfred
the
Walker
shortstop.
doing it all. I'm sure Elder was probably in the YouTube stream. He's probably been like, actually he's the first baseman. Well, we just saw it there. It'll be interesting to see the watch numbers as no one is covering first. So
Who's on first? No one.
no one's on first. Interesting to see the watch numbers. A big shout out to everyone in the SSBL squad for making week 12 day 3 a hugely phenomenal stream. Had 24 max viewers, which, you know, it isn't a lot, but it really is. It just shows the passion that everyone has for this league. So excited to see how many people are going to tune into the minors, especially as they're casted now. Into the left side, George Pierre is there to make the catch for the first out.
Now batting. The left fielder. Number 16.
Ball outside. Outside. That's outside.
3-1 count. Popped up. And George Pierre is there for the second out. Who would you say in terms of, for both of these squads that you've been able to tune into, who do you think has been the standout for each of these teams this season? Because this ball is, hold on, shut up, Whitney. This is jacked to the track, and no, millimeters off of the top of the wall.
You're safe.
We need to shave a few inches off the top of the wall here in Motor Yard.
Number 30.
I mean, if they keep on hitting enough of those balls, it'll dent in the wall.
Yeah.
That's my new catchphrase is shut up, Whitney. When you're not even talking. It's like the new jar.
Nope, that's not.
But anyways, Whitney, who do you think are the best players for each of these teams this season? Because that one is it. Shut up, Whitney. This is stupid.
Now batting.
all right. Runners on the corners. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning.
I think George Pierre for the Crawlers has been definitely the most influential. And then for the Corns, I'm going to go ahead and say, man, Flip-Flop had a really good season. Over 500 batting-wise, 3 home runs. But honestly, Maple Sparks, only giving up 1 earned run. It's hard to say anyone else.
Full count. Runner will go to second. They'll have to go back, so we'll do it again.
Nope, take your base.
Oh, and a curve just misses the inside. Kush holds off. That'll bring up Mushaw. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Going to top have a 5-1 lead. And honestly, given the way that the Crawlers have been unable to score runs this series, it could put them away here with a well-placed hit.
Off the plate.
I don't even have to hit the ball.
See ya.
3-1 count. And, that one drops in for a strike. Bases loaded. Everyone will go here. This one is hit well into left, tracking back at the track, at the wall, and George Pierre. Man, that wall is seeing some action today. We've seen a lot of close calls. In the end, it's just 1 run for the Corns to pop.
Now batting.
Top of the order for the Crawlers, and you got to think if the Crawlers are going to get back into it, they need to take advantage now.
They really have to start to chip away, while Monroe is starting to labor a bit. throwing 67th pitch here, like maybe try and get 1 or 2 here, make it a 2-run game. Really try to open the door at any point.
Luzon throw to Walker in time for the first out. Huge props to Walker out there, who will probably never have children again, but still playing for his side.
That's outside.
Right side, deep. Caught by King Kush for the second out. Now bring up Sabine Samplemore.
The catcher now pitching.
That'll do it for Valet Renault. 5 hits, an earned run, a walk, 4 strikeouts in 4.2 innings pitched. Both of the starters for the Corns of Pop this series have gotten the job done, and we're heading into the top of the 6th inning. So far through 14 innings, Whitney, the Crawlers have scored 2 runs against this Corns of Pop battery. That's the right term, right? Battery?
Yes. And honestly, it was one of the things that was going to be interesting to see coming in here. They still have a few rising spots, but, at least have 2/3 of a lineup filled out. Whereas the Corns in their division face the Sparrows, I believe, who have a lot of rising players still on their team. Quacks as well only have about 2 or 3 real players. So it was going to be interesting to see these Corns of Pop players, or pitchers, I should say, go against a stronger team, and they've so far excelled in just about every way imaginable.
And actually, Whitney, as this is thrown into first in time for the first out, I asked you to get this prepared for the middle of game 1, and apologies for not getting to it sooner, but how exactly did these two teams get here in terms of their divisions and how they got through?
So the Corns of Pop won their first game against the Cobras 11-0, then suffered their only loss of the season to the Sparrows, of all teams, 1-3, then won out the rest of the way. Their closest game was the second game against the Cobras, won 8-5, and then every other game they won handily. 6-1 over the center fielders, 8-1 against the Sparrows, 20-7 over the Quacks, 13-1 center fielders again, and then 18-1 to finish off the season over the Quacks.
Number 1 seed in the Rising division, and then the Crawlers had a little bit more of a tough time between the Spartans and the Jungle Kings.
Yeah, both their losses were against those teams, suffered shutouts against them in back-to-back games, 0-1 and 0-3 in their second and third games of the season. Started off the season 2-0 with back-to-back wins over the Raptors, 7-4 and 11-5, and then swept the rest of the way, beating the Spartans 8-4, 2-0 over the Good Boys, 7-1 against the Jungle Kings, 16-1 victory over the Good Boys, and then another victory over the Jungle Kings in the division tiebreak to get them into the playoffs here.
Well, Doku Shi here, 5-1 Corns of Pop lead for him heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Reminder, everyone, to make sure that you tune in after the conclusion of this series, especially if this result holds out. Probably about we'll do it at the top of the hour or the 30-minute mark of the hour, whichever is sooner. Will the other series go live, and I'll be joined by Squared, who will actually be doing the play-by-play. I'll be doing the color for that series. Whitney will not be joining us, but that's because it's Lucky Charms and Cherry Bombers. His minor squad is in action against the Overdrafts minor league affiliate. So make sure you tune in for that series, as we'll see who can win out the Chaos Conference and book their ticket to their first ever Minors Super Series.
The lone 2 teams that made the playoffs, both in the minors and the majors.
Z got rung up there. I don't know if you're winning me. Yeah.
And the Cherry Bombers, the only team to make the minors playoffs both years. Oh no, never mind. Corns of Pop. I instantly blew up in my face.
What happened to your mic? I thought Squared had come on.
I brought it really close to my face.
That sounded so bad. That's what you get. That's instant jar.
Yeah,
instant jar. I love that became a meme. I think I was the one who came up with the idea with it too, and I didn't expect it to blow up like you guys blew it up. To be fair, it's the same that happened with Jack and the same thing that happened with Inges. just for some reason.
Ball outside.
Except this one wasn't off of one of my idiosyncrasies, which is nice for it to happen for the first time.
You never know what's going to stick until it does. I mean, do you think the person who created the Dilly Dilly commercial thought it was going to be like a phenomenon for like a entire like 2 years or something?
Man, that person must be so rich.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, let's be real. Someone in corporate came up with that, and they maybe got a raise, but they're not rich. the corporation took all the money. Because that's the way that capitalism works. Here we are on the top of the 7th. Runners on first and second. 1-1 count to King Kush. 3-1 count. Asiago, of course, getting the call and getting to see why maybe he has the most innings of any Miners pitcher. This one is into left. Caught by George Pierre. Nice work from him. One gone here in the top of the 7th.
Good play by Pierre there and left.
The designated hitter, number 23.
Left side. That one's foul.
That's outside.
2-1 count now.
That's down.
Misses low. And for the second time in this game, Asiago walks a batter.
Batting, the catcher.
Brings up Gerald Davis, 2 for 4, 2 singles and an RBI with the bases loaded, 1 out. And for some reason, the infield is not playing the double play.
I think the Corns have had the bases loaded the last 3 innings. Haven't gotten anything across the last 2. Chance to really blow it open here and all but cement their minor Super Series appearance.
Take your bets.
And that will walk in a run. It'll be 6-1 now. And here is Alfred Walker, tweaked groin, and he's still in. I mean, if he hits a home run here, he might be the new old Iron Balls. He is not, though. Barker, Wilder, throw to first in time. Dragon special. Maybe he should have just sat down once the game was over. Heading to the 7th inning stretch. Corns pop with a 6-1 lead. I'm Fisac on the call, joined by Whitney. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and join us in the Discord. And if you're not a part of the Discord and you don't see a link to it, just make a comment. Let me into the Discord, and we will send a carrier pigeon your way. It'll be a QR code, and that QR code will take you to the Discord.
We'll send Hedwig your way.
This one right to Keisha Phillips, so to first in time, 1 gone. As I believe that is now a locked-in Doku Shi.
Fielder, number 47.
These Risings at the bottom of the order had been doing really well. He was 2 for 2, and this one's 1 for 2.
Make it
Probably
1
have the
for
majority-
3 as Luzon
Probably have the
is there.
majority of the hits for the crawlers today.
The designated hitter, number 17.
Got old Merle.
Merle into right field. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning. Not what the callers like to see, as they're down to their last 6 outs to try and get something done here and force a game 3. And you know, it is interesting, Whitney, for the Walkers in terms of obviously just missing out on the postseason, and now they have a relatively old squad. They did make some trades that brought them some really, really elite talent that, despite regression, will still be decent players next year. As well as they did get some Season 4, Season 2 players, but it's going to be tough for them as he rings it out there. And it's tough to see who from this Crawlers organization will be making their way up next season.
I think George Pierre probably will get the start in probably either right or left, replace Wingspan Wackett, I think, who was playing in right towards the end of the season. I think center field, it may still be,
Asiago misses the ball there.
Asiago, well, that's to be expected.
That's why I traded him.
Center field probably will still be Kip Shaw's. That maybe Bobby Boucher ages decently, gets some batting talent. He could come up potentially. Left is Galileo's for the foreseeable future. That's one of the bright spots for them. It's gonna be interesting though to see what Pasta wants to do with that Walker's team. Like, you've got people like Texas and Crew Hart Are those pieces going to stay? Are they going to be trying sold? It's going to be there's a handful of question marks for them going forward to next season.
Ball is, shut up, Whitney. This ball is slammed to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. That ball launched by Phillips 405 feet, or Breezy Bree, in fact, is the one who got that there. Mojo boosting with the Corns of Pop with an 8-1 lead. Gotta think that might have just about done it here. By the way, if you don't like Shut Up Whitney, just tell me.
No, it's fine. It's funny.
This ball's hit deep into left at the track of the
hit
wall.
Ooh.
It's out of here. Shut up, Whitney. This one goes over.
Just snuck over.
Well, you know, they have been nailing the top of the wall all game, and finally they got the extra like 3 inches, and I'm using inches in the correct term here, to get it over the wall finally. And the Corns of Pop are well on their way to heading to their first ever Minors Super Series. Barring some extraordinary circumstances in the bottom of this inning, the Crawlers have 6 outs to get 8 runs when they have scored 2 in the first 16 games of this series. But we'll see what they can do. Stranger things have happened.
The first 16 games of the series?
First 16 innings of the series. I won't have this. I won't have this.
But I think the Corns of Pop brought their newspapers because the Crawlers are getting squished.
Not your best work, man. You gotta think there could have been a better pun there. In the chat, put what you think a better pun would have been there. Granted, it's probably better than anything I would have come up with. As he rings him up there, Dokushi looking fine and tidy here. He's looking to take his crew to the Minor Super Series, and they're just 4 outs away from doing it.
Dokushi, the most work he's had so far this season, only had 2/3 of an inning coming into the playoffs.
Swing and a miss. She gets hung up there. And we're down into the 9th inning. The Corns of Pop looking to sweep here. Let's see if they can get it done. And we'll have our first member of the Minor Super Series, the Panic Conference winners. That one gets through. And the Corns of Pop are looking for double digits.
Now batting, the catcher, number 50.
That's been the story of their second half of the season. I mean, they scored double digits in their last 3 games, 2013 and 18. Probably one of the highest scoring Minors teams this season, I'm going to assume.
And second straight walk for Davis.
Now batting,
Brings up Alfred Walker.
number 77.
Runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the top of the 9th. God, I think Asiago is going to get pulled sooner rather than later here. That one is in the dirt. Sabine Samplemore recovers.
Strike.
2-2 count. Whiffer activated. A strange groin against a washed up pitcher. Who will win? Vote in the comments now. Swing and a miss. He gets rung up. First out in the top of the 9th, and that'll bring up Chris Luzon.
Number 10.
Ball inside.
1-2 count. And a beanball to Luzon, and surely that'll do it for Asiago.
Now batting,
Bases loaded, 1 gone for Keisha Phillips. Gina Muscles will make her appearance here.
Good old Gina Muscles.
She is season 1.
Yes, she was a former Bomber.
And the Corns of Pop will enter the double digits, as this is probably the last ever appearance for Gina Muscles.
She should have had her last appearance about 3 seasons ago, but
Well,
the glory of SSB2 prolonged her career.
I don't think she can be retired, but I can totally see her getting dropped. As look at those pitching stats, and season 1 regression is not gonna. Season 1 regression is gonna do her dirty.
Season 1 regression might make her 0-0-0. Because I think she's like 30-30, like 20. We just might have mercy killings.
Take him out behind the shop. Full count, 2 outs, runner at first will go. Gets them to swing at a ball in the dirt. The throw to first is in time. But the Corns of Pop make it double digits, and they are 3 outs away from heading to the Minors Super Series, which will take place tomorrow.
Now batting.
And you can anticipate all of us on the call if the Cherry Bombers lose. You can anticipate myself and Squared on the call if the Cherry Bombers win in the next series.
Let's hope Obi-Wan and Smitty have a better outing against the Lucky Charms than they did at the end of the All-Star game.
Well, hopefully for you, it's just Fields Goodman and Obi-Wan. I know Fields
Yeah,
Goodman
that's
didn't start against the Lucky Charms, but that way it would be a sweep. 2-2 count. George Pierre. And he rings him up there.
And Doku Shi.
Well, Doku
Hasn't
Shi,
allowed a base runner in almost 4 innings.
Doku Shi is looking to become only the 4th Corns of Pop pitcher in this entire series and not allow a 5th pitcher to come in. The bullpen has gotten it, or rather, just the pitching for the Corns of Pop have gotten it done this series. Have only allowed 2 runs in the entirety.
Struck out 13 people. That's a jinx.
This is up the middle. Porterhouse is aboard. The issue, of course, being that this is Bobby Boucher and then Horizon's due up after, as they need to get some hits right off here if they want to stay in contention.
Ball inside.
So, Elder, by this time, you probably would have already gotten a message from me in your chat to let you know that you have advanced, and that thank you in advance for not telling anybody that you advanced. This one's in time, and the Corns of Pop are your Panic champions. They will face the winner of the Cherry Bombers and Lucky Charms. 10-1, your final score here. Much more offensive showing from the Corns of Pop this game. And Whitney, any final thoughts on what we saw?
I mean, honestly, went the way I think most people expected. The Corns of Pop are just too young and too talented to have fallen here to the Crawlers. Just continues to be a bright showing for the future of this Unicorns organization.
Doku Shi will actually get the win for the Corns of Pop. Interestingly enough, Jeffries will get the loss. Winner of the game will be Breezy Bree, followed by Trey Flip-Flop and Mooshaw. And I actually think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to message both of the channels and say, if you won, I'm not saying whether or not you won today, but would you make any changes for your final appearance? Because when this is live, we'll actually be recording the Minors Super Series as it happens. So a little bit of behind the sausage look, but thank you so much to Whitney for joining me here for our first Minors Conference Finals. Tune in at the top of the hour at the 30-minute mark, whichever comes first, for the Cherry Bombers and Lucky Charms series. I'm 5 Sec on the call. Until then, keep on rigging, everybody.